And I believe I am live. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Hopefully, you can also hear me. Just making sure I have my microphone all set up. Yeah, okay. Hopefully, you can hear me. So, hello, nice to see you. Happy Sunday. Hope your Sunday has been going well. Let me know what's your Sunday been like. How has it been? Our Sunday was a bit of a quiet one. We went to church this morning and then we kind of didn't do much work today. So we kind of chilled a bit and also had a nap before I had this live. So let me know what your Sunday has been like. But today, what I wanted to do is, I guess, just have a chat with you guys as always in terms of, me doing this once a month. So if you're new and you didn't know, I tend to do this live usually like the last Sunday of the month in the new year. I may be changing the day, so I will get you guys to maybe vote on the day and just update you guys. But usually I will do a live on the last Sunday. So if you're here, please do let me know. Let me know how your Sunday has gone. Let me know how's your week been. Are you looking forward to the next week? I mean, it's December already, which is crazy. So, well, it's not December yet, but it's December in a couple of days, where the time has just been so quick. So, are you looking forward to the month of December? Are you looking forward to the end of the year? Looking forward to 2022? Let me know. Let me know, where you're from, if you're here, if you're joining me today. But today I wanted to, I guess, start by talking about, the fact that I have left my 9 to 5 job. And I basically went on Instagram to ask you guys if you had any questions. And if you also have any questions here live, then definitely ask me any questions that you want in terms of me quitting my 9 to 5 job and maybe what that means or anything like that. But yeah, I thought I would just answer some of the questions that were asked on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram currently, you can follow me. It's Veronia Spain. So literally the same as my YouTube channel. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. So for context, like if you guys didn't know, but I pretty sure most of you will probably know, I did end up quitting my 9 to 5 job. So I have not had my 9 to 5 job for it's been almost a month now. Actually, it's gone really quick. So it's been a really interesting experience. I mean, I have a video all about it. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And I have two videos actually. I have one, talking about why I actually left my 9 to 5 job, and then the other one is more based on like life after the 9 to 5. So I kind of just wanted to use this live just to, I guess, deep dive, answer any questions you guys might have, and yeah, go from there. So definitely let me know if you're currently watching. Let me know how your Sunday has been going. So one of the questions I got asked is, what will I do with my pension? I put this on my phone. What will I do with my pension now that I've left my employer? And I thought that was a really interesting question, actually. And it's quite a good question. I would say, so before I had already planned to actually get a SIP. So if you guys don't know what a SIP means, it's a self-invested personal pension. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I have like a few pension pots from like different employers that I've been working with, which hasn't really been, I haven't really worked with those employers for very long, but I was obviously contributing to my pension at that time, and the employer was as well. So I have these small pension pots. And so what I planned to do was consolidate them anyway into the SIP. But it's something that has been on my list this whole year, and I still have not done anything with that. So that is basically what I'm going to be doing. So all of my pensions, I'm basically going to consolidate them all, so just really bring it into one pension pot, and so that's going to be with SIP. So I'm hoping to do that. Actually, that's going to be like one of my to-do lists, either the end of this year or at least next year. So I plan to bring all of my pension pots together, and then in terms of how I'm going to be going forward, there will come to a point where I will then want to be able to actually start contributing back into my pension. So I might not be able to do that right now, But I'm hoping that later on I will be able to start contributing to my pension. So that's exactly what I plan to do now. It's really something that I was planning to do before anyway. I was looking at, having a self-invested personal pension. So for me, it hasn't necessarily changed. It's just that obviously I'm not going to have employer contributions anymore at the moment because, obviously that a lot of people will tell you that that's free money. So I'm not going to have those employer contributions, which is a shame. But I am still hoping to still contribute to my pension because I think it is quite important. So another question I've had, and guys, let me know. I mean, there's like 9 of you on the live. Like, let me know. How are you doing? How's your Sunday? How's everything going? But the other question I received is, what do I do day to day now that I've quit my job? And I think like a couple of people have asked me, is it really different? Like, how are you adjusting to the not having a 9 to 5 life? And I will genuinely say that it hasn't actually felt that different at all. I genuinely don't think it's felt that different. If anything, I'm probably doing more hours compared to like my normal 9 to 5. But as I've mentioned in like my previous videos, I've been able to time when I actually do my work. So I'm definitely a lot more productive in the morning. So that's when I'll try and do like most of my work or most of my active work or any like content creation. I'll try and do that in the morning. Whereas in the afternoon, I would say I take like a 2 hour break. And the reason being is because I'll take 1 hour for lunch, and that's something that I'm used to. But then I'll also take another hour to go for a walk just to clear my head. And just because I know that in the afternoon, I'm really not going to do much work. I'm not even going to lie to myself. I know myself, and I never really do much work between like the hours of 1 to 3 o'clock. There's nothing really happening there, so I may as well just try and be like more healthy and be bit more productive in that way. So yeah, that's essentially what I do, sort of day to day. But in terms of what I'm actually doing, like the activity, obviously a lot of it is kind of content based. So obviously I might be filming YouTube videos, I might be editing YouTube videos, or researching what videos I'm actually going to be producing, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much work goes into YouTube videos. But I will say I think I've mentioned this before, but usually it takes me around 8 hours to edit, film, and upload a video. So 8 hours, and I produce 2 videos a week. So you're looking at about 16 hours. And I was doing that with my 9 to 5 job. So I obviously had to work quite a few weekends to do that. So I will edit my videos. So that's a little bit of content creation. I also have Instagram as well. So again, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram if you don't. So I do make content for Instagram, trying to be a lot more consistent on my stories as well. So yeah, definitely make sure you share. You follow me on that. And so that's really the content creation bit. Then there's other bits that I do. So for example, I have coaching clients. So at the moment I have calls on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So these are women that I currently coach on their personal finances. And so that tends to happen. That tends to happen at the moment about 3 days of the week. And so I also need to prep for those coaching calls. I also need to do tutorial content as well. So this is really kind of in-depth content that they tend to look on in terms of the curriculum that we look at in terms of their own coaching. So a lot of my days are actually filled doing that, I would say, and also answering their messages as well, because they have private messaging access to me. And then what else? Other days are kind of just either big picture or learning, because I also have my own coach as well. So I will either go through sort of the work that she maybe has set me, so any action steps that she may have set me, or actually go through the coaching call with her as well. So actually my days are pretty much quite similar in terms of the times, in terms of when I was working with my 9 to 5. So it's not really felt that different. And I think it's been easier to adjust just because I've been working from home for the past 18 months. I mean, I was only going to the office like once a week. So it's not really been that bad in terms of adjusting, and I do like most of my stuff on my computer. So yeah, it's not actually felt that different, which is great. But I do really enjoy the flexibility, and yeah, just being able to go for a walk when I would like, and I guess just having that idea in terms of knowing when I'm productive and when I'm not, and just using that to my advantage. So it's been a really interesting learning curve. There's a lot of, I guess, mindset things I definitely need to work through in terms of just, I guess, not having like a consistent paycheck, which is something that I mentioned in my video, which is weird because it's like it's not like I'll talk about my finances actually in more detail because I think that's probably something that you guys are mostly interested in. So, in terms of our finances, if you guys will, like most of you guys will probably know, we're quite secure in that we actually have quite a lot of savings. So, we plan to buy an investment property. And so, we were really saving money for that. And we were also investing our money as well. So, because we've been putting money towards saving up for an investment property, obviously it means that we have quite a lot of savings. And it basically means that we pretty, and that's separate to our emergency fund as well, by the way. So we also have an emergency fund if you guys didn't know. And so with those savings, if we didn't buy an investment property, the amount that we have will pretty much last us for at least a year. And that is if both myself and my husband had no income coming in, like zero income coming in, we'd be able to survive for about a year. So these were some of the things that I was kind of working through to make sure that if I was to quit my job, like how secure would we be? And so knowing that we had these savings, and obviously we still want to buy an investment property, but we don't mind delaying it slightly if, just in case we ever really need to use that cash. And that's separate from our emergency fund. So we also do have an emergency fund as well. So we do have quite a bit of capital, like savings for that. And then obviously we have our investments, but we don't plan to touch our investments for years, like probably at least 10 years, to be honest. So we don't touch that at all. And so because of that, I kind of evaluated it and said, do you know what, actually, in terms of like finances, that's probably something we don't need to worry about. But I will say that knowing that you still don't have a consistent income, it does still feel a bit weird. Oh, hey, Tolu, how are you doing? For those of you who don't know, Tolu is one of my fellow finance YouTubers. So make sure you guys check her out if you haven't already. Like, I absolutely love Tolu. We need to do another collaboration actually, because we did a collaboration last year. Was it this year in March for International Women's Day. So yeah, we definitely need to do another collaboration, but guys, make sure you check her out. She's got a lot of personal finance content as well, particularly if you're like maybe a millennial mum as well. I definitely think her channel is going to be really amazing for that. So definitely check her out. But yeah, in terms of what I was saying, I think in terms of personal finances, it's just that consistent paycheck, like knowing that at least, like if I went to my job and if there were a couple of days where I didn't do work, you'd still technically get paid. I mean, you may end up going on like a performance improvement plan or anything like that, but you'd still technically get paid. Whereas what I'm going to be doing now and what I'm going to be working towards, if I don't do work, I don't get paid. So that's kind of like the difference. And knowing that, like, if you decide that you're just not going to do work for weeks on end or like just a few days, then that could impact, how much you end up making. So like if I stop doing YouTube videos, then YouTube is less likely to actually, promote my videos, which means I'm going to get less views, which could also impact the revenue that I get from YouTube as well. So it's just small things like that, knowing that you kind of have to depend on yourself. So that's been really strange, just knowing that I don't have like the same paycheck anymore. And you guys will see it in the budget video as well. Like when we start doing our budget videos over the next few months, you will see how like inconsistent the income comes in. So I get like different sources of income, but they come at like different times. So it might be 1 month where I make a bit of money, and then maybe 1 month where I don't make much money. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be really interesting. And also because before, all the money I was making, even when I was coaching clients, that was all going back into the business. So I was reinvesting all of that back, whether it be to, hire my coach, for example, or to like buy a course, or just to buy things that I need for my business, like email marketing software, for example. So all of that money was kind of going back into the business. So now I'm at the point where some of the money is still going to go back to the business. Like I'm going to be like quite transparent, because I still really want to be reinvesting some of that stuff. But then obviously some of the money we may then put in our budget as well. So I think it's going to be really interesting just to see the difference. And I think if you are maybe like a freelancer and maybe you have that inconsistent income, hopefully like my videos will actually provide a bit more inspiration, maybe just so you can see, okay, this is someone that also has some variable income. How do we navigate that? But obviously ours is a bit different in that we still have my husband's income, so his is still quite consistent, which is great. So he's still in a normal 9-to-5 job. So for us, we still have that kind of security, I guess, in terms of having a consistent paycheck, whereas mine is going to be like like this. Like I already know. So just kind of bracing for that mindset shift has been really interesting. So yeah, and even this month, like when we were doing our budget, I was like, well, this is a bit strange because I no longer have my salary. So like how much money, because I also have to set aside money for taxes, because guys, you still have to pay taxes even when you're self-employed. So remember that no matter how much income you're having, you still have to pay taxes, and you have to sort that out yourself. I mean, I do use an accountant to like do my self-assessment returns and things like that, but you still have to be putting money aside for taxes. So once I've done that, I then have to figure out, okay, how much money do I want to take out of the business for now based on that budget. So that's been really interesting, and I think yeah, over the next few months I think it's just going to be hilarious. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But again, if you guys have any questions to do with like our personal finances, like quitting the 9 to 5 job, definitely like let me know in the comments. I am happy to answer anything. If you want to know about my experience with it, let me know. But I think the one thing I would say, like the one tip I would give is, if you are thinking about, maybe working on your personal, not working on your personal finances, but like actually quitting your job, or even quitting your job for another job, because that's also something that you might want to be doing, or if you want to take a sabbatical or anything like that, is really think about like how financially secure you are, because we were only able to do that, and we were only comfortable to do that because we have worked on our finances for like so long. Since it's now been more than 3 years, so I've been really working on that. And then obviously when we got married, we joined everything, and then we were also working on that as well. So we still have the same system that I had before I even got married, and so we have been working on this for quite a while. So even though it may seem a bit sudden, where I'm like, oh yeah, I've quit my job, really and truly I have been financially preparing for security for a few years now. So I was able to take that leap knowing that we are still going to be financially secure, regardless. So that's been yeah, a really interesting experience at the moment. How long should someone work as a side hustle before one quits? Until we have money to cover annual expenses. That's a really good question. Money and wealth conversation. So I really think it also, I wouldn't be able to just give you one straight answer. I really think it's going to depend, because it's not just your own finances, because it really also depends on your mindset and your risk tolerance as well. Because I could have said, I could have like 3 months expenses, and then I'm ready, I'm just going to quit my job just like that, and I'll figure out a way. Like I could be, that, like I could really just be such a risk taker where I decide, actually I'm going to take 3 months. Whereas you might have another person where they're like, no, I need to have at least a year's expenses before I even think about quitting my job. Or, some people will say that, for their side hustle, they would rather actually replace their income consistently, so replace their salary, before they actually end up quitting their job. So it's really going to depend on your personal circumstances. So personally for us, I didn't necessarily wait until my side hustle like matched my income, but we had enough annual expenses and savings. So there's kind of like the two differences. Maybe you could either like look at your side hustle income. Some people will prefer to wait until they actually match their own salary, or match their expenses, because again, for us, when it comes to our salary, we don't spend our whole paycheck. We pretty much like save half of it and invest half of it. So for us, it could have been, if my side hustle was to basically match our expenses, or, depending on, if you've got like a partner or something, or, do you have the necessary savings? That could be something. So I think it would really depend, and figure out like what's comfortable for you. I think for me, it was knowing that my husband obviously still had his 9 to 5 job, so we still had that consistent paycheck. But then also the fact that we also had quite a lot of savings, that kind of gave me the confidence to say, actually, yes, I could afford to quit my job at this point in time. If I was maybe on my own, I may have waited a little bit longer. I think I still probably would have. I would have had quite a lot of savings anyway, so I still would have been comfortable with the savings part, but I maybe would have waited a little bit longer, maybe a couple of months, just to, just get some cash in, have that for the business, and not to need to worry. Or maybe I'd even just take a part-time job, for example. That's something that I was also considering. So if I was on my own, I probably still would have done it, to be honest, but I maybe would have waited a few months longer, or just got like a part-time job, so that I know that at least my core expenses are still taken care of, and I still have my savings just in case like anything happens. So yeah, hopefully that helps. S says, congrats on making the leap to full on self-employment. Thank you so much. How have your financial goals changed now that you don't have the 9 to 5? That's a really, really good question. Thanks so much for asking. So in terms of my financial goals, I don't think they've not necessarily changed that much, but they have kind of shifted. So this time last year, when I was like setting my financial goals, I actually really thought I was still going to be in my 9 to 5. And I think I mentioned this in my video, but my plan was to still have the side hustle, but literally it was just going to be a side hustle and I was going to focus on getting a promotion. But what I wanted to do is for me to get the promotion, have that increased income plus my side hustle to then be able to save more for like an investment property and to also invest in stocks and shares. So that was the original plan. And so why that's kind of shifted is that I've sort of realized that not only do I kind of also want a break at the moment because just things have been a lot hectic this year, but also I could kind of start to see actually my side hustle could also be quite a big vehicle to essentially reach things like financial independence, which is pretty much our kind of ultimate goal. No, I don't want to say ultimate goal, but it's one of our biggest financial goals at the moment. But what I realized is the more I could understand actually when you have a business, there's obviously the option for uncapped income. Whereas with my 9 to 5 job, this would also, the income can be capped, or you have to maybe like change jobs or change employers or ask for promotions and things like that, but there might always be a set cap that you have based on your experience, whereas with an online business specifically, I could help people around the world. And so because of that, I kind of shifted towards more of the business route, really kind of accelerating my progress towards our progress, because it's myself and my husband, it's not just me, but really accelerating our progress towards financial independence in the long term. Even though in the short term it may not seem like it, I feel like in the long term it will. And so in terms of our ultimate goal, I think it's pretty much still there, but the timing has changed slightly. And so what I want to do is focus more on the business, accelerate that, and then use that cash flow to invest in other asset classes like investment properties and stocks and shares. So I still plan to invest in other asset classes, but the timing's just going to be a bit different. I hope that makes sense. Like, I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but that is basically what the plan is now, and that will be reflected like when we do our goals, and like when I like look back at my goals, and I'm just going to be like, yeah, these goals have definitely changed, because I didn't plan to quit my job when I set my financial goals last year. I did not plan to quit my job at all. It just wasn't in my mind at all. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting actually looking back at the goals that I set last year, and yes, I will do a video on that too. So hopefully that answers your question. Hi Eva, how are you doing? How's your week been? Let me know. Babies, Budgets and Beyond says, congratulations on quitting the 9 to 5. Thank you so much. How many side hustles do you have? YouTube, financial advising. How long did it take you to become monetized on YouTube? Really good question again. So in terms of I don't necessarily see it as side hustles. I see it as of just one business, like one online business. So for me, I have the one business, but I have different streams of income. So in terms of like what I do, so yes, I do have a YouTube channel, so I'm able to get monetized through YouTube through ad revenue. I also have my own paid products. So I have budget templates that people can buy from me, and they're all in the description if you ever want to check out my budget templates. And then also I do things like affiliate marketing. So these are things like if I, what's the word? Like if I refer you to a company or a product that I'm currently using and you decide to buy it, I might make a small commission. So if I say like, I've read these books from Amazon and I would definitely recommend it, and you decide to use that link, then I will of course make money from that. I also make money through free shares as well. So that's also like a kind of affiliate as well in terms of like free shares. And so I don't do financial advising. So I'm not a financial advisor. So I don't give financial advice, but I am a money coach. And that's quite different in that I don't give financial advice. But what I do is I guide women on, overcoming overspending and actually creating a plan for financial independence and learning how they can really start to manage their own money and then also invest their money as well. But I don't give financial advice. So I don't tell them, you should invest in this stock, for example. But what I do is I give them the guidance and the education based on their own personal circumstances where they can then make their own decisions. So that's really the key difference. I don't think I would want to become a financial advisor, to be honest. I really enjoy coaching because it means that the women kind of just get to really make their own decisions and they can have the confidence to make their own decisions. So that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much all my streams at the moment. So how long did it take me to become monetized? So from memory, I started my channel end of May, and then I got monetized in January. So about 7 months, if I've calculated that correctly. So about 7 months it took me to get monetized, because I reached the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is one of the criteria that you have to reach. I reached that in 6 months. I think I reached that in, was it 5 months? Maybe five or 6 months. I think I reached it around November time, but then I didn't reach the watch hours until January. So you also have to have 4,000 watch hours to get monetized on YouTube, and I didn't hit that until the beginning of January, and that's when I got monetized. So that was great. So that's really been helpful. I think you need, someone says, I think you need at least 12 months of living, savings, expenses before making a big move like that. Yeah, so for us, we actually, calculating it, we probably have more than 12 months, and that doesn't include our emergency fund. So if we have our emergency fund, that's actually more. But yeah, I would say based on sort of my risk tolerance, that's what I was personally comfortable with, knowing that we have that amount of savings. So again, it's really going to depend, I'd say, on your personal circumstances. I mean, some people may just quit their job in 1 month. That's something I personally wouldn't do. I would definitely say, either maybe having quite a good stream of income, or if you have a partner who has a consistent income, that's also something you might want to consider. And then also remembering that you should have an emergency fund anyway. So this is excluding, before you even think about quitting your job, asking yourself, do you have an emergency fund and things like that. So yeah, it's going to really depend on you, but personally, that's sort of the route I would go if anyone asked me to recommend about quitting the 9 to 5. How long did it take for you to save up for a house deposit? So we're still currently saving for an investment property. So we're about, I would say, just under 2/3 of the way there, and we've been saving since last year, but that wasn't the only thing we were saving for. We actually will if we didn't actually have to pay for our wedding, because we put about 10K into our wedding, we would probably have just about had money for the deposit. So yeah, now that I'm thinking about this, I'm like, should we really have had this wedding? But to be honest, we'd already planned to have the wedding last year anyway. So so pretty much we've been saving up since last year. And so the goal was to hopefully either get it by the end of this year or beginning of next year. But as mentioned, that was with me thinking I'm going to get a promotion and I'm going to be able to use the side hustle money, which I really didn't, because I was reinvesting most of the side hustle money. And then also I didn't actually get a promotion this year as well. So because of that, it's taken a bit longer, but now obviously things have completely gone AWOL because I decided to quit my job instead. So yeah, that's kind of how long we were doing it. But we were saving about £1,700 a month, which I guess maybe is around just over $2,000. And yeah, that's what we were saving. But if I'd have increased my income or started to use some of the side hustle money, we actually would have been saving closer to 2,000 a month, actually, based on what I was actually getting. So yeah. So that depends on your annual income and if you have debt and if you're disciplined about saving. Yeah. So in terms of, I would not have quit my job if I was in high interest debt. 100%, I would not have done that. And a big reason for that is because you still have these payments. So again, that's a big reason why we were able to afford it now, is because we'd worked so well on our finances to be financially secure and not have any consumer debt at all. and yeah, basically have the savings, and that made me comfortable to then be able to say, actually, okay, I can afford to quit my job. And also remembering again that we pretty much only live on one person's income anyway, so we were basically living on my husband's income and we were basically saving mine. So for us, me just not having an income just meant that we're not going to save as much, but that was it. Like our bills are still going to be paid for, like our lifestyle's not really going to change that much unless we want it to, unless I say that I no longer want to go and spend money at all, which I'm not going to do. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that you like my channel and really hope that the content has been useful. But yeah, I mean, like if you guys have any other questions, let me know. I think there were a couple more questions on Instagram. I mean, I had a question, whether I would go back to the 9 to 5, and it was a really good question. And it wasn't like I hated my 9 to 5. Like I actually really enjoyed my job. For those of you who don't know, I worked in HR, and specifically I was working in diversity and inclusion. And so that was something that I was actually really interested in, just making sure that, people have, equal opportunities regardless of what background. So whether it's your gender, your ethnicity, any of that, that's really what I was passionate about. And I feel like I've kind of also now started to move that into, my content as well, in terms of, I'm always really trying to encourage people of different backgrounds to start working on their finances. It doesn't have to be a specific person. So even, if you're a woman, if you're Black, whatever you are, like you can also work on your finances. So I feel like I'm kind of like passionate in that area. But I feel like for me, it was more about like where I thought my calling was. And because I could really start to see actually, having an online business for me really does have a lot of potential. And so for me, I could see that I was really enjoying it a lot more than my 9 to 5 job. And it's not to say that I absolutely hate 9 to 5, because I actually really enjoyed it. And, I actually really liked working in HR. But I just felt like my calling was going into something else. But the thing I would say though, is obviously when it comes to even just having your job, like just remember not everything is secure. So, even though you may have this job, personally, I would probably be thinking about, is there anything else I can be doing to just increase some of like the streams of income that I can have? And I know like a lot of people talk about this, but just because, it's not always secure just to have like the one job. Like even for me with this business, I wouldn't just focus on YouTube ad revenue, for example, because I don't own YouTube. So literally anything could happen. YouTube could decide to just stop paying me ad. To be honest, they don't pay that much for me on my ads anyway. But YouTube could basically say, we're going to stop giving you money for ads. And then like that could be my income completely gone. So for me, it's thinking about, okay, how can you start to build it? So whether that be you investing, for example, and maybe trying to go through the investing route, or maybe that be you creating a side hustle, for example, but just something so that, just in case you lost one form of income, you would still be okay. Because particularly when it comes to like the pandemic, so many people lost their jobs, and like even in my company, like so many people got made redundant, and I literally had to think and I think that was the catalyst actually for me to now start really thinking about my side hustle. Because I thought if I'd have been made redundant today, what other income would I have? I wouldn't necessarily have any income coming in. So I would definitely consider like thinking about that. But at the same time, guys, focus also on your finances and building that financial foundation, because that's like a common mistake that I see people doing. Like they're trying to like build all these income streams, but then they have this extra money and they end up spending all of it. So you really want to think about, okay, how can I build my financial foundation well? And then once I've built that well, that's when I can start thinking about, building some income streams. And you don't have to build 5, 10 income streams in one go. You can literally just focus on one, master that well, and then once you have that one, then potentially you can then start thinking about another one. So that's kind of like my sort of guidance, like in terms of what I personally think when it comes to that. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps. Budgeting and tracking is key to reaching financial goals. Yes, yeah. I mean, if you're subscribed to my channel, then you know how much I love budgeting. I mean, I always share I have a budget update video actually on Tuesday, and this is going to be my last budget update with our consistent income in terms of my salary. So definitely check it out. Like on Tuesday, it should be coming out. hopefully, as long as my computer works all okay. Should be coming out on Tuesday. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting video, knowing that that's the last time that I have my consistent 9 to 5 paycheck. What other financial YouTube channels do you enjoy watching? So I actually used to watch quite a lot. I used to watch a lot more than I do now, and the only reason for that is because I now create content. I want to have my own voice. I don't want to watch so many other people's YouTube videos and then almost kind of mimic them subconsciously, because that could also happen. So for me, I kind of limit how many I watch, but I watch like Tolly Frimpong. I still watch her because she's like one of my girls. So she commented in the beginning, definitely check her out. So she's a finance YouTuber. And then also my other fellow YouTubers. So Finance D is someone who I have also collaborated with, and she's absolutely amazing. Yvonne Huduma, she's also someone I've collaborated with. She's amazing as well. And then also the big UK ones, so Mama Furfur and The Humble Penny. So those are two where when I started focusing on my personal finances, I really looked up to them, and they've been really inspirational. And then in the US, the biggest one I would probably say was Minority Mindset. Hands down, was my favorite YouTube channel overall. I think he's absolutely amazing. So yeah, those are some of the channels that I enjoy watching. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Oh, good question. So 5 years' time, I now see myself financially independent. I think I had a goal before of being financially independent by 35. So that by the time, I think when I set that, I was 25. So that was in like 10 years' time. But I actually think I can reach it sooner than the 10 years. So I actually envision being financially independent, and I'd be 31 by then. So that's the plan. And then also, we'll probably be thinking about having a family and things like that. So that's why I'm taking a lot of this risk now. Because if you guys didn't know, I'm currently 26 at the moment. So I've decided to take this risk now, because we currently don't have dependents, like we don't have kids at the moment. So that's kind of why, because I feel like in 5 years, by God's grace, we will probably have a family and things like that. So yeah, I envision that. I envision still talking, hopefully still talking about money and personal finances, because it's something that I really, really enjoy, and just helping others with their personal finances, and really scaling that as well to make sure that everyone has that financial education, particularly because they're still not teaching this in schools, they're still not doing it at all. But then also, like, a lot of teachers don't have that financial education either, so they can't necessarily teach it if they don't have the education. So really kind of being a part of like helping others be financially educated is something that I really want to be doing over the next 5 years. How much do you recommend to spend on Christmas gifts? So it's really going to depend on you. Like, it's going to depend on who you decide to give gifts. And obviously I have a video that came out on Friday where it's talking about like my tips on like preparing and saving for Christmas. But I would definitely say it's really going to depend. I can't tell you like an exact amount, because the amount that I say may be either really small or really big. Like if I was to say like 100, for someone that could be like really like too much money, and they could be like, oh my gosh, how can I actually afford to spend 100 on Christmas gifts? Whereas for someone else, that could be like chicken change. So it's really going to depend on like your own personal circumstances. But the one thing obviously I would say is just really think about what you can afford based on your level of income. So that's what I would say. And again, think about ways that you can maybe be creative. So like in our family, we stopped, I think since last year or the year before, we stopped giving presents to every single family member, because honestly it was just getting expensive, and it was just getting ridiculous, to be honest, because I was like, why do we need to spend so much money on that? Whereas now, actually, what we do is we'll do gift giving. So we have one person that will then get a nice gift for, and then that's it. And I do the same with my friends as well. And so, yeah, that's kind of how we do it. I mean, I don't even know if I've had to ask my husband, like, are we doing Christmas presents? Because obviously we've basically joined our finances. So I'm like, are we doing Christmas presents this year? I mean, I've got like a Christmas present sinking fund. I really doubt he does, because he probably doesn't. So like, I'm like, yeah, are we doing it? Because I need to know, like, as part of my sinking fund, like how much I need to allocate and stuff. So yeah, it's really going to depend on your personal circumstances. But one thing I would say is buy what you can afford. What do you mean by financially independent? Very good question. So in terms of financial independence, I've got some videos on this on my channel as well. But essentially, what I mean is that you basically have assets. So these are things that are going to be putting money in your pocket that are going to pay for your lifestyle. So rather than actually getting your income from your 9 to 5 job, what you'll be getting is money from your investments. So whether that be property, that could be your business, that could be stocks and shares, for example. But whatever it is, that the money that you get from your investments will basically pay for your expenses. And once that happens, you essentially you're financially independent. And so what that means is that for a lot of people, they will either need to invest in their businesses or invest in other businesses through stocks and shares. Oops, sorry, there's fireworks going on at the moment, or investing through like cash flow assets like property, for example. And there's other investment vehicles that you could potentially use. But essentially, the money that you'll then get from your investments, that will then pay for your lifestyle. And so what that means is that even if you lost your job today, you would still have these investments paying for your expenses. And so it means that you don't have to, and I think for me that was kind of the ultimate goal and the reason why I want to be financially independent. Of course, it means that you have a lot more time freedom, because it means that you don't actually have to work if you don't want to. So you could essentially retire early if you wanted to, and some people will choose to do that. But for me, a big reason why I'm working towards financial independence is really more about that ultimate security. So knowing that if I lost my job today, that really doesn't matter because I've got investments paying for my lifestyle anyway. So that's like a key reason why I'm working towards it. But then also I think for me, it's like based on the family aspect. And I think it's really important for you to know why you might be working towards financial independence, because I think a lot of people tend to miss this out. Like they think that they should be saving up for financial independence, but they're not really sure why. And so when they reach financial independence, they don't really know what to do. So for me, I kind of had to go through thinking, what does financial independence mean for me? And this is something that I go through with my coaching clients as well. So the women that I work with, we really sit down and, like I asked them, what exactly does this mean for you? And once you know that, that's when you can start to think, okay, practically, how can you achieve it? How long do you have? When do you want to become financially independent? What vehicles are you going to be using to work towards financial independence? So yeah, that's essentially it. But a lot of people will do it because of the time freedom. So knowing that you don't have to work, or maybe that you might decide to cut back your hours, you might decide to work part-time, you might decide to have more time to spend with your children and things like that, or to be able to serve, maybe you want to volunteer and things like that. That allows you to do things like that. So yeah, that's really why I like to work towards. That's really why we're focusing on financial independence at the moment. And I kind of like almost feel like I'm at that point where even though we don't have all of our investments paying for our lifestyle, I almost kind of feel like I'm at a point where I have the peace where I know if I was financially independent, this is exactly what I would be doing. So like I would still be working, I'd probably still be creating content because I really enjoy doing that. And I would still probably be working and coaching and things like that. So for me, I kind of almost feel like I am financially independent, even though numbers wise I'm not, but that is something that we're working towards. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. But if you've got any specific questions, let me know. Gosh, time has gone so quickly. I mean, it's been like 43 minutes already. I mean, I hope you guys are enjoying my live. Thanks so much for coming. And actually, that was probably one of my questions that I got. So the question was, do I still want to become financially independent even though I've quit my job? And the answer is definitely yes. Like part of the reason why I've decided to do that is because I think actually the route that I'm now taking could be a quicker route that's going to accelerate our goal towards financial independence more quickly. So yeah, it's definitely still on the cards. It's something where I actually want to achieve maybe quicker than I originally thought. I was going to achieve it at 35. I'm now kind of wanting to achieve it by 30, I would say. So bold answer that I've given then. I've let you guys know. So in 4 years, you can come back to this live and be like, were you financially independent by 30? And we can see. But yeah, that's currently what I am working towards. And I think those were all the other questions. So unless you guys have any other questions, I can't seem to see any at the moment. But I've loved chatting to you guys. But if not, I think we're probably going to leave it there. And I hope you guys can still hear me as well. Like I hope I haven't like gone off or anything, or the internet has gone a bit weird. But yeah, as a reminder, I do have Tuesday's video. Hopefully, if it's uploaded and all good, that's going to be going through our budget. So if you haven't seen any of my budget update videos, definitely check out that one, because that's going to be the last one where we have a consistent income coming in, so you can see how much like we're able to save, how much we tend to spend, our essential bills. One spoiler I would say is one of our essential bills has actually increased, so one of our utility bills, so you can guess which one that is. Maybe take a guess and let me know. So yeah, that's increased, so you will also see that. So someone asked, how can I become a money coach? Really good question. I mean, for me, I just really started working. I started working with clients, and specifically for me, I started working with women on their personal finances, and I was able to get them results. And I also hired a coach to help me become a coach. So yeah, that's also something that you could do, because I wanted to just really invest in myself, and I didn't really want to try and figure it out all myself, because that would have just taken me, it would have taken me a long time. So I decided to just invest in myself and get a business coach. And I also got a course. I bought a course as well to really help me do that. So that's something that you could potentially do. Heating bill. Good guess. So you will find, I think I mentioned it on Tuesday. If not, it will be on my budget video for December. So that'll be a Christmas budget video. But yeah, definitely a good guess. So I think I'm probably going to leave it for now if there are no other questions. It's been great speaking to you guys. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, if there are no other questions, well, I hope you guys have an amazing evening. We're just going to have dinner right now, and tomorrow, what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow is Monday, and now I actually look forward to Mondays, because now I get to plan my Monday. So I'm hoping to go to the gym in the morning, and then also work on a bit of content and stuff that I'm going to be working on towards January as well. So yeah, really looking forward to that. All right, guys, if there are no other questions, we will leave it there. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope you enjoy your week. Also, I know that there was Black Friday on Friday. Let me know, did you underspend? Did you overspend? Did you buy anything? I actually was planning to buy something. So these were like planned expenses we planned to buy, and I actually didn't end up buying anything. So I might look tomorrow. It's like Cyber Monday. I might look tomorrow because I want to buy a couple of Christmas presents from there. So we will see if there are any good deals. And when I mean good deals, I mean deals that haven't been inflated before and now telling me that, it's 20% off. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for actual good deals. So I'm excited to see if there's anything good. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you guys all have an amazing evening. Don't forget to like this. Comment. How can I become a coach? Yeah, so I mentioned, you can hire a business coach that specializes in helping you become an online coach, or you can buy a course as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you guys have a good evening, and hopefully we will speak soon. Bye, guys.